Hello guys, how's it going? AlexTheGrumpyOne here. Hope you're well. Today we got my Honda Integra in there, Type R. This is 2001 model. I'm going to do a quick video today on replacement of the front brake pads. So I got the Brembo brake pads here. The link is in the description below as per usual. I'm going to do the video and show you how to replace the discs as well if you need to. I don't need to, I'm just replacing the brake pads only because I got the racing ones on there when I bought the car and they are really noisy. And I'm personally using it as a daily car, so I don't really need that. They don't even get warm enough, to be honest, to get used properly. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, tune in guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because there'll be more content for the Integras coming out soon. Right guys, so my one's in the scissor lift. And if you're interested in this scissor lift, I'm going to put a link in the description below anyway. This is one of the best things I bought. I got two poster, but scissor lift has been a completely life-changing thing. So yeah, really enjoying using it, especially for stuff like this, doing the brakes. I'm gonna just get the wheels off, but before I do it, please be careful when you're jacking up the car. If you're doing it on the floor, make sure you jack up in the correct places and put the handbrake on if you're working on the front of the car. So there's no movement. Use the jack stands, axle stands, and yeah, just be careful. Just to explain quickly, in order to remove the pads, all you have to do is push the pads, the piston in. You need to make sure that there's enough room in the brake fluid bottle in your engine bay for the brake fluid to retract back to. So you're gonna have, I usually use a screwdriver to push the pistons back in both sides. Then you knock two pins out, take the locator off there as well, and then you just slide the pads out. In case you want to replace the discs, you got two Phillips screws there that might be tight sometimes, so you might have to use the hammer to tap them first before you undo them. And then obviously take the caliper off by removing two bolts that hold the calipers on there on the carrier. I will show you that today anyway. And then obviously once you remove that off, hang on the banjit and then knock the discs off in order to replace them. Like I say, in my case I don't have to replace them, but today I'm going to show you what to do if you need to replace them as well. Right, so get the flat blade screwdriver in there and just, like I said, push it between the pad and the disc and you'll be able to retract them a bit. So find it nice and free. Obviously at this point as well you can see if any of the cylinders are getting seized. Hopefully yours ain't getting seized. But yeah, that retracted spot on, so there's plenty of room now for the new pads to go in afterwards as well. And obviously, like I said, make sure in the bottle in the engine bay you have got enough room for the brake fluid to go back up. Now all you need is a small punch because you need to get the pad locks out of there. So just punch it there, punch it through, and you'll see it'll start coming out. And obviously this will try and stop it coming out, but make sure you got a punch that's not too big for the holes. Hold the cover so it doesn't flake into your eyes. Same with the other pin. Cover is off. Obviously notice how it goes back in there for when you're going to refit it. At this point you should be able to slide them out of there. There we are. Like I said, they weren't low, they're just the racing pads and they're really noisy, so that's the only reason I'm replacing them. Right, so like I said, because I'm showing you how to replace this as well in this video, you need to take two of them out there. They're Phillips screws usually. Some of them might be missing already because it depends obviously what happened to it before, but just tap it because they usually corrode quite a bit in there. Give it a tap. Then I'm just using my normal draper set and hopefully they'll come undone. There you go. If they're really tight, what you can do is use a flat blade screwdriver and just put it in a disc, or ask someone to press the brakes, it's up to you, but put it in the discs so it locks it against the caliper and then you can undo it. That way you can apply a bit more force on it, but like I said, my ones after a tap they're coming out alright. So just to let you know, at this point if you just replacing the pads, then you literally all you have to do is just clean up the surface there, make sure the seals are not split on each cylinder there, and just clean it up if there's any build up with a file or just a screwdriver, and you can slide the new pads in there, put a bit of copper grease on them, and that will be done. Then you just put the cover on there and put the lock pins in there, and job done. But obviously, like I said, I'm showing you how to do it if you're doing the discs. I got the draper ratchet here with 17mm, and we're gonna undo the bolts that hold the caliper in order to remove the discs. There's 2 bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom, 17mm. Here we are, 2 17s out. The caliper just comes off. So don't twist it, like I said, just hang it off using the bungee out of the way. Depending on how old and how tight the disc is, because usually it creates a bit of corrosion around the hub, and sometimes they are a pain to get off. But you can tap it with a rubber hammer. Again, I got my draper rubber hammer. So give it a tap. The other way of getting it off of there without smashing the hell out of the disc, you can put 2 bolts in here. This is 30mm bolts that I got, just the spare bolts, and start doing them up. They're threading the disc evenly, and as you can see, you already popped the disc. So that's all good. Like I say, it's usually the corrosion that builds up in there. There we are. So that's all good. As you can see, this looks perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, there's a little bit of corrosion on there. They're gonna clean up and put a bit of copper grease on it. Bit of copper grease on there. When fitting this back on, don't forget you need to make sure the hole's matching the threads there for the little screws that go on there to hold the disc on. So give it a tap as well. I'm going to put a bit of copper grease on the screws, not a lot, just to make sure next time they come out a little bit easier. Screw it back in there. Not too tight, but make sure they obviously stay in there. To make sure that it's completely flat on there, do them up again. Right, caliper back on, it goes on one way. Make sure that the brake line is not twisted. Right, so like I said, the torque settings will be in the description below for the bolts. So don't forget to torque it up. Right, on the brake pads I usually put a bit of copper grease on the bits that are sliding in, and a little bit on the contact with the pistons. So you got the brake pad weigh indicator on the pad sheet brake pads, so that goes this way because it won't be able to fit on the inside because it will hit the back of the caliper. So obviously the pad towards the disc. If you're struggling to push it in, and when you push one of the pistons in, the other one pops out, all you have to do is once you pushed one of them in all the way, just use the screwdriver, put half the pad in, use the screwdriver and push the other one in, and that way they should be nice and even for you to put the pads in there. The pins, they're going to clean up real quick now, and put the pins back in. And you basically, what you do, obviously only go in one way, you knock them in all the way till it locks up. With the part they got here, it just locks up in there, and then it expands once it's in there to make sure obviously they're in there properly so it doesn't come out and you don't cause any issues with your brakes. Right, so that's a bit of a difference. As you can see, this one's nice cleaned up. I'm going to clean the other one up, but yeah, it makes quite a big difference. Right, all nice and clean. Get them in there. Align them with the hole. You might need to apply a little bit of pressure to get the plate back in there properly. At this point you will need to give it a tap with the hammer, make sure they're aligned, and you'll see how it goes back in there. I usually use a punch just to give it a little extra. There we are. That's in. That's in. And then obviously adjust this a little bit. Right guys, so at this stage everything's done. Don't forget to press the brakes, make sure the cylinders come out, and before you start the car up, pump the brake pedal, hold it down and make sure that it goes nice and tight and you got a nice firm pedal. And don't forget about the bedding process, or when you fit new disc and pads or just the new pads. You need to drive slowly for quite a while because the performance of the brakes is not going to be spot on straight away. Right guys, so this is it. It's pretty much done up. I'm going to do the other side now obviously, but it's exactly the same. So like I said, don't forget to clean them up properly as well. Once you fit new pads, new discs, or both of them together, you need to pump it out, and then also when you're driving, drive slowly before you complete the bedding process, because you'll see that the brakes are not going to be as great in the beginning because obviously they need to bed in. Once you drive for about 10-20 miles, use your brakes, you'll see they're going to improve slowly. But yeah, this is it. Just clean everything up, make sure everything's done up, torque up the bolts on the caliper if you change the discs, and yeah, make sure the pins are in there properly. Double check your brake fluid level, make sure it hasn't spilled anyway. If it did, clean it up with the water, because you're the one that's going on your bodywork, because it'll just destroy your paint basically. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a subscribe, like the video, comment below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.